Hanover Square Press and HarlequinAudio present The Drowned, a novel by John Banville. Performed by John Lee. One. He had lived alone for so long, so far away from the world and its endless swarms of people, that when he saw the strange thing standing at a slight list in the middle of the field below the house, for a second he didn't know what it was. In the gloaming, two red lights glared at him out of the long grass like the eyes of a wild animal crouched and ready to spring. His heart gave 3 dull, slow thumps. He felt them in his ears like the beating of a distant drum. But it wasn't an animal. It was a motor car, low-slung, sleek and expensive-looking, painted a burnished shade of dark gold. In the gathering shadows it gave off a muted, sinister glow. The engine was running, and thick grey-white smoke was trickling slowly out of the exhaust pipe at the back and dispersing in ghostly wisps. The door on the right-hand side, the driver's door, stood wide open on its hinges. Again he thought of an animal, jaws agape, bellowing in pain and fury. But there was no sound to be heard, except that of the faint breeze rustling through the bowed grasses and the leaning brambles still loaded with overripe blackberries. A car sitting in a field below someone's house. So what? No concern of his? The wise thing to do would be to walk on, past the gateway, as if he had seen nothing, and go home and mind his own business. Yet something held him there. Later, of course, he would regret that he should have paused even for a second, but by then it was too late, and he was caught up among people again. People, the bane of his life. It was bound to have happened, sooner or later. The one thing the world would not do was leave you alone, in peace, by yourself. Always it had to draw you in, insisting you take part in the fun and games like everyone else. Children. The world was full to bursting with children. Not real children, those magical, achingly precious creatures, but stunted, ill-developed homunculi, all marching up and down, stamping their feet and gesticulating. He had been frightened of them when he was little, and they were all still children, or pretending to be, and they frightened him now more than ever, when they were pretending to be grown-ups. Yes, life, so-called, was a birthday party gone wild, with shouting and squabbling and games he didn't know the rules of, and one not ganging up on the other and knocking each other down and dancing in a ring like savages, the whole mad rampage going on in a haze of dust and noise and horrible hot stinks. That was the world for you, all right. Their world. He put his things down behind the gatepost, his fishing rod and his old floppy shoulder bag, not much of an afternoon's catch, 3 medium-sized bass, and a pollock he would fry for the dog, and the old tin cash box that he kept his sandwiches in. He hesitated a moment, but then, even though his heart was still going like a tom-tom, he went in at the gate. "You fool," he told himself, even as he advanced. "Why can't you mind your own business?" He walked along the grassy hump that ran between the twin ruts of the driveway, his legs moving as if by themselves, leading him towards what? The house was some way off, at the top of the rise, and he could see only the roof and part of a gable end. He came to the spot where the car had abruptly veered left and plunged deep into the field, and he turned and followed in its twin zigzag tracks through the tall grass. It was a sports car, a Mercedes SL. So it said in raised letters on the lid of the trunk, with a retractable roof of stiff black canvas. He knew little about cars, but enough to know this was no run-of-the-mill model. Who would have left such a costly machine sitting in the middle of an overgrown field, with the lights on and the engine running? There was a mingled smell of exhaust fumes, hot metal and leather upholstery. Also a trace of a woman's perfume.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?